Like, how were you able to balance out being a pastor and working at John Deere at the same time?
It was tough. The one thing I had going for me is that I don't require a lot of sleep. But it seemed like one continuous day. You know, I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'd go to work. I'd be usually at work at 5:30, quarter to 6. I'd get off at 2:30, 3 o'clock. I'd come home, I would study, or I'd either make a trip. Like right now, usually on Wednesdays, when I was still working, on Wednesday I would come down to Bethel for Bible study on Wednesday, and get out of Bible study and have to go right back. Get out of Bible study at it was 6 o'clock, 7:30. Get back home. It's 8:30 or 9 o'clock. It's time to go to bed, and then short night. 4 o'clock comes after 6 hours. It's time to get up. So at Bethel, it just seemed like one long week. I was always under the gun for time. I was always trying to meet a time schedule, and so it was very challenging to the physical body, and plus I had to try to get time to study, and so it was challenging. The church at Coppin was not as demanding because it was a small congregation and didn't demand as much time. That's part of the reason why I went, because I was working. I was trying to take care of the family. And when they needed somebody at Coppin in Fort Dodge, I was serving as like an assistant minister at Payne. That's a big church in Waterloo. And they needed somebody, and because I was ordained, they asked me if I would go serve that church. So I agreed to. Most of the time, we just drove down on weekends. We would go down and serve the church on weekends because the church didn't demand as much time. And then later on, we started having, Bible study in the middle of the week. So I'd get off work, and we'd hit the road. As soon as I got off at 3 o'clock, we'd have to hit the road to get there by 6. So I'd go home and get my wife, and we hit the road and get there by 6. We have prayer service to 7 o'clock, 7:30. 100 miles, get back at, now it's 9 o'clock and 9:30. And 10 o'clock before you can get in bed. So it was more challenging at Bethel because of the midweek, and I had to do that really kind of every week. It demanded more of my time. It demanded more weekends. Where at Coppin Chapel in Fort Dodge, sometime I could go down on Sunday morning. I'd go down and we'd have a sermon, and that basically would be it. So it was challenging, but we thank God that we were able to make it. There we go.
Like, how did traveling back and forth affect your children?
Many times they went. Usually, like on the weekend when we would go to Fort Dodge, many times they would go. There were some times we would let them stay at home. They might have some other things that they were doing. So basically, they knew that we were traveling, and they really were some pretty good kids. The worst thing we had happen, with my sons, is that they threw some eggs on the neighbor's house. That's the biggest problem we ever had with them. Like I say, they were good boys, and we had no problem with it. And same with the girls. They knew where we were going, and they just kind of took care of things. They kind of watched the house when they didn't go, but sometimes they did go. It didn't cause a real big problem, really. We made the time to support them anytime we could. And the church was really receptive to us, supporting our kids. Just like when our son was playing ball, there were sometimes we had to be gone, like on a Sunday. But the church was really supportive and really receptive to us being gone. They realized that we probably need to be there to support them, and we don't have any regrets there. So we thank God for that.